Today it's the 12th of March and I'm doing one of the regular accountability boards where I hold the Chief Constable of the Nottinghamshire Police to account. I'm just going to go around the table and introduce ourselves. I'm Caroline Henry, I'm your Police and Crime Commissioner for Nottinghamshire.
Michelle Butcher, Chief Executive and Monitor Officer for the OPCC.
Gillian Holder, Chief Finance Officer for the OPCC.
And Dan Howard, Head of Strategy and Performance for the OPCC.
Kate Meynell, Chief Constable.
Thank you very much, Chief. So today we were scheduled to talk about lots of things as part of the regular accountability board, but given yesterday's announcement from His Majesty's Inspectorate of force and the Nottinghamshire Peel inspection, we've taken the decision to cover this as the introductory public part of this open session. Chief, can you tell us about the recent HMICFRS inspection?
Okay, so the recent inspection happened between the end of 2023 and January 2024. And as you just said, it's the Peel inspection, so it looks at police efficiency, effectiveness and legitimacy. We're still waiting for the final report, but in the meantime of producing the report, HMIC have announced that they've got two accelerated causes of concern for the force. The two areas are that the force needs to improve how it manages and carries out effective investigations to make sure that victims get the support that they need. And the second cause for concern relates to their observation that the force doesn't have adequate processes, planning or governance arrangements in place to monitor performance or identify where improvements are required. So they're the two areas that they've identified. What that means then is that HMICFRS have decided that we're going to go into engaged status, so that's a higher level of scrutiny than most other forces have, although we're not on our own in being engaged. It's engaged scrutiny, but I think more importantly as well, it's support. So we're really keen to make sure that we engage with that and we take this opportunity to try and improve as well as address the concerns that HMICFRS have raised.
So what will this mean now for Nottinghamshire Police?
So in terms of, so I've just explained about additional scrutiny for us, but also I have to attend a police performance oversight group meeting where I have to talk about the action plan of what we're going to do in order to address and alleviate the concerns that have been raised by HMICFRS.
Now, we had a conversation on Friday night with the Inspectorate and the embargo press release we knew was going out yesterday morning. Before that came out, I came and saw you give a briefing to your senior leadership team, and you talked about Operation Catalyst.
Yeah.
I think it would be really helpful for the public to understand how you grip this and what you're doing.
So if we can just talk about as soon as we knew about the areas of concern and what I did. So I recognised straight away how important it was, what they were identifying. And as such, I made sure that we took urgent action to address their immediate concerns. So we addressed all the immediate recommendations raised by HMICFRS upon receipt, and they were completed within a few days of having those. Part of that was me tasking a dedicated team of DI and detective sergeants to look through some of the crimes that HMICFRS had raised that they were concerned about. They were concerned about those in relation to supervisor updates. So we looked at those crimes and found that all of those crimes were reviewed and all of them had a supervisor allocated to them as well as an officer in the case. I think that's really important to know that they were being looked at by the organisation. In regards to supervisors' updates, we found that 2% didn't have a supervisor update on in the required time. But that doesn't mean that they weren't being investigated. The supervisor update is something that goes onto the system. Again, it doesn't mean that there's inactivity on that investigation. The other area we looked at was around victim updates. Again, there was some concern that we were missing some of those. The work that we've done has shown that there was 5.8% of the crimes that we monitored didn't have the required victim update, which is 21 days. That's the time that we set ourselves. So I'm not complacent about any of that. I think it's important that we make sure we understand why we're getting that wrong, and making sure that our supervisors have the ability and the confidence and the support and the right skills and knowledge to do those updates. So that's something that we're looking at. But also, I think just before we sort of move on to Operation Catalyst, I just want to talk about some of the work that I've already set in train as Chief Constable is starting the role, because some of this work takes a bit of time to deliver, and it's important to show that there are things already in motion, but we need some time to embed them and move forward. So one of the things I've looked at is around supervision, so identifying that we didn't have sufficient number of supervisors on our response teams, and I increased the numbers on response. I've also, through our leadership development programme, making sure that our first line and second line supervisors have the knowledge and skills required to ensure that we've got and improve our effective supervision of investigations, but also our victim care. So really investing within those roles. Something else that we looked at is around the how we operate as an organisation. So recognising that it's really important that we get all our people in the right place and our resources in the right place to deal with the demand that we see on a day-to-day basis. I've done some work around a new operating model and also amending the governance structures. Now those things will take time to implement, and we're having to deliver, carefully manage that change whilst dealing with day-to-day business, and that's so it takes some time for us to do.
Yeah.
But
and even during the meeting yesterday when you were briefing the team, somebody was on call and had to go out and crack on
that's it.
at keeping the public safe in Nottinghamshire.
But I am committed to making sure that we deliver those pieces of work. Whilst
Yeah.
I say that it takes some time, there is a plan in place, and we've got that sort of date time, so we know what our targets are and when we're going to deliver on certain elements. But it's important that we do that. We also need to look at our demand, how we manage our demand, how we understand our demand, and make sure that we get upstream of demand. So one of the other areas that I've identified as an organisation we need to be much more focused on and much more at the forefront of our business is around prevention and problem solving.
Yeah.
And as such, I've established the Prevention Hub, which again you know all about.
That's it. But these things are new and have got to embed, haven't they?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
But I think that the sort of around Operation Catalyst, so that is the response to the HMIC decision to put us into Engaged. I'm really clear with the whole of the organisation that it's really important that we see this as an opportunity to improve, and that we engage with the process. HMICFRS have pointed out some issues to us. We need to understand what they're about, how we can address those concerns, also how we can alleviate them. But for me, it's about actually how can we understand what the wider needs are of the organisation. So we're not just looking at whether a supervisor has written an update on a report, it's whether they understand why they're doing it, what the quality is of what they're doing, does it add value, and do they feel that they've got the skills and expertise to do that. So there's a lot of different elements in there for us to consider. And what Operation Catalyst will do will capture all the elements that we think we need to do, not only to deliver and address the concerns of HMICFRS, but also to make sure that we build on the good work we're doing now, but we then continue to improve, because we want to provide the best quality service we can for the community of Nottinghamshire. What being engaged has done is it's gives us an opportunity to reach out further to other areas of policing. So we've already reached out to the College of Policing, and we're working with them around our neighbourhood policing model, what that looks like, and also how we embed prevention and problem solving, but also some of my chief officer colleagues who lead on certain thematic pieces of work. So for example, the prevention lead, the problem solving lead, we're already working with those as well. So there will be a lot of scrutiny, and we'll make sure that we are up to that scrutiny, and that's obviously from yourself as well. But I think as well it's also the support and and helping to deliver that, and it will give us the opportunity to really embed the changes that I wanted to make and make sure that we improve, and we use this as a catalyst to move forward.
It's obviously disappointing going into Engage Nottinghamshire Police, but I'm really pleased to see that we're moving in the right direction and that you've worked so swiftly to put things right. As a Police and Crime Commissioner for Nottinghamshire, I've got a duty to hold the force to account on behalf of the public. So there's going to be a number of additional things which I'm going to be doing to gain extra assurance and to make sure that the recommendations on what that HMI have made and the areas that they want you to look at, progress is moving at the right pace. So additional scrutiny from my office. We've spoke about this, Chief. You're expecting it. whilst it's a really challenging time, Nottinghamshire Police, you know, we've spoken about getting weekly updates, about the team being more involved in extra meetings, and also that our office will work really closely with HMI, because they're able to deep dive into things that, operational things that we wouldn't have the capacity to do. But I'm really confident that the force will emerge a much stronger force after being engaged, and I'm determined, to work to do this.
Okay, thank you.